Good morning, everyone. My name is Carlo Benedict, your instructor for today from GATS. The last time we talked about creating a Google form. Now today we are going to continue from there, and we are going to talk about spreadsheets or Google Sheets. Now when you've created a form and you have sent the link to your respondent and they've responded, you would have created a sheet or a Google Sheet in respect to the form you've created, where people have responded and then their data has been collated. So today we're going to look at how to navigate a sheet. So whether it is a fresh sheet or whether it is the sheet you've generated from the response, whichever way it is, a spreadsheet or Google Sheets has same functions or has same way of being manipulated. So this is what we are going to do today. But today we are going to start afresh, meaning we'll create a new spreadsheet, make entries, and here are our highlight of what we are going to do as our objectives. Okay, so we will be looking at imputing cells, data into cells. We'll also look at editing entries, and that has to do with bolding, font color changing, align text in the cells. Then we'll also look at cell formatting, okay, where we can look at formatting the cell background color. We can look at adding arrows, adding columns, merging of cells. We can also rotate text in cells. So here is our Google Drive that we've opened. So you open the Google Drive and then you click on new, as you've already know by now. Click on new, because like I told you, we're starting with a fresh sheet, so we can go about data entry. All right, so click on new, click on sheet, Google Sheets. All right, so so this is our sheet that has been created. You can see there's a new sheet. Nothing is inside empty sheet. All right, so first of all, we can name our sheet. All right, so let's call this, click on it and click on rename. You can duplicate it, you can rename it. All right, so let's rename our sheet. Okay, you can also see that you can add another sheet. All right, maybe possibly you have sheet 1, you want to work on another sheet, you don't want the information to appear on sheet 1, then you can add another sheet using that I button. So let's start with this. So this is January payroll 2025. So let's look at let's call this January as a heading, payroll for 2025. All right, so now we are done. So let's look at the first item we want to put in, or the first item. Now on the mobile device, when you have clicked on a cell in Google Sheet or in Excel, a cell is described by an alphabet and a number. Now, which is to say that you have a row, you have column. So now rows are simply the horizontal description of, or horizontal alignment of the boxes, while the columns are the vertical alignment of the boxes. All right, so here we have a cell to be described to as A, because we're looking at this particular cell. This particular cell where you see different dots inside is what we want to describe. So, and the particular cell is on column A, at the same time on row 2. Okay, so we simply call this cell A2. Okay, this particular one, if for instance I have click on this, all right, we'll simply call this cell is on column B on row 2. All right, so this is B2, that's cell B2. If I click on this particular one, okay, or possibly come here, whichever way, this is column C, and row 4. All right, so I have it to say C4. That is the name of that cell. So that is it. Now let's put in our data. Now if I want to type, I will click on the cell I want to type in, then come down to click on enter text or formula. Okay, that is when I can impute data into that particular cell that has been highlighted as I clicked on. Okay, so I put in my data by clicking that, and then I will call this to be name by initials. Okay, I want to use initials instead of full name. All right, so I'll go to the next one. Okay, I want to talk about rank. We have put another cell because we want to prepare payroll, then put rank. The next thing I will put salary. Okay, put allowance. Okay, so the next cell I will say total, so that it will reflect what we want to pay each person. All right, so let's quickly input some data by initial. Remember, let's say this is GK. Okay, let's say this is JD, RH, BT, AS. So put in, remember, you click on the cell and you enter the data you want to enter. So let's say rank, let's say GK is HOD. Okay, secretary. Okay, secretary, assistant, secretary, clerk, cleaner. Okay, so let's say salary for HOD is let's say 40,000. Let's say this is 25,000, 20,000, 15,000, 15,000. So let's say their allowance is for HOD 10,000, and the remaining people 5,000. Now you can click on this particular icon here to return back to letters or typing in alphabets. So let's see what that gives us. Okay, you can see, and then you can also click on the icon to return to typing only numbers. All right, so we are done with data imputing. Let's check back to our guide. Okay, so we have imputed data into the cells. So let's look at editing entries: bold, font color, align text in cells. So let's bold this. So now you can see we have highlighted the particular cell that we want to effect some changes on, and this particular icon B will enable you to bold the text that has been highlighted in the cells. Okay, why? This one will enable you to give the text a color. This particular one icon will enable you to align the text. Okay, this particular icon will enable you to give the cell a background color. All right, so the text color will remain what it is, but the background will be given a color. This will enable you to add a row, while this will enable you to add a column. All right, so let's move on. So here we want to bold, so we'll click on the cell and then we'll click on bold. You can see it has changed. We'll click on the next cell, bold, click on the next one, bold, or you can highlight all of them bold at the same time. For instance, I can just click. Now when you want to highlight group of cells, you highlight the cell itself, then click on these dots and drag. So I can click on it and drag. Okay, and I just click on bold. You can see it has automatically bolded the two of them. All right, so this is what we have done so far. Okay, so let's look at what else we want to. change the font color and also align text in cells. So let's look at the font color. Possibly we want to give all of them a different color. So let's highlight and click and drag, as we've said before. Click and drag. I want to give it a font color of possibly blue. So let's click on this particular icon. We'll give you that function. So click on it and then you see the color has come. Now I want to give it a font color of blue. Yeah, all have changed to blue. So bring it down. You can see. Alright. Now we want to align the text. The text is, I want to centralize it, make it central. So highlight all of them. Okay. So you click and drag on the dot. Click the dot and drag. Good. And then you come to click on icon. Click on it. Yeah, centralize. So we have centralized it. You can see all of them are centralized. Now the next thing we will look at is putting a background color. You can equally highlight it. Maybe we want to put background color for total. Okay, so we just highlight all of them. Then we'll click on the background color. So let's give it a color of yellow, any color of your choice. Let me go by this. So the next thing we'll look at is to see how we can format the cell. Now, in formatting cells, we have already done cell background color. You can add rows, add columns, merge cell, okay, and rotate text. Good. You want to add a row, right? You can add a row above or below. Now remember that the row is the horizontal alignment of the cells, while column is the vertical alignment of the cells rather. So to add a row, possibly I want to add a row underneath this particular line 2. Maybe I want another line to come before the names appear proper. So I can click on this particular icon, adding row below. So I'll click. You can see it has added a row below. So it has shifted the data downward and put a row in between them, that is below. If you also want to add a row above, you can utilize this particular item as well. We will want to use that as well to check for other ones. Alright. But then I want to undo. So you can see varieties of options of what you can do more to your cells. This particular one is talking about the cell alignment. Now, if you have typed a long sentence in a cell, you can manipulate how it should appear in the cell. This particular icon will make the text in the cell to go towards the upper part of the lines of the cell. This one will make the text in the cell to be in the middle. Okay. Then this will make the text in the cell to go downward on the line. Then this will make the text in the cell to show across another cell. This one will make this text in the cell to remain within the boundary of the cell, which means if it is a long text in that cell, it can increase the size of the cell. Alright. Then this particular icon will limit the boundaries of the cell, but then it will show that there are some text that are hidden inside, which you won't be able to see across a cell. Alright. Then you can click on this particular icon to align your text either vertically, horizontally, diagonally, and the like. So let's see what is in there. Look at this particular cell we've highlighted. Let's tilt it up. You can see the way it is. Alright. Let's tilt it down. You can see how it is. You can stack the text vertically. Same way. Rotate up, you rotate it down, the same thing. So you can initiate any of the way you want the text to be rotated. Alright. I can decide to make this text italics, okay, which means I can use this icon to make it italics. If I want all the rows there to be italics. Okay, let's see. Can highlight all of them. Okay, so I click on italics. You can see it has turned them to be italics. I can underline them. You can see it has underlined it. But let me undo because I don't want to use that. Okay, I can strike a line through And you can increase the font size and also change the font. You can change the font to whatever you want it to be. Maybe I want it to be like this. You can see it has changed. You can increase the font size to possibly size 14. You can see it has changed as well. So let's look at the cell formatting. Yes, so here now you can now be able to look at the borders. You can increase the border line, okay, to change, which means everything is there. But then you now have to come and click on the border if you want the border to be entirely all the text that you have highlighted. If you want it to just be the outside boundaries, if you want it to just be the middle boundaries, okay, whichever way you want the line to be or the borders of the cells to be, you can initiate that. Then if you want the border line to change in color, to change the color of the border line, same thing can be done. You can also fill the cell with the color. All right, now in this case we want to add the border to all the cells. Highlight all the cells we want to add the border to. Fine, click on extended button, then we'll go to formatting cells. All right, so let's click on all borders. Good, you can see it has put lines, and you can increase the line. All right, you can make it dash. You can see, you can make it a double line. Yeah, you can just make a single line and increase the boldness. But let's just make it simple. Now we can change the border lines to maybe red, green. Then at the same time, you can also change the filling. You can see it has filled the whole of the cells. You can change it to whichever way you want it to look. All right, let's reset, okay, because we don't want that. Now let's look at the caption, the heading of our table. Now we want the heading of the table to extend to the end of the last column. Good. So in this case, we're going to use a formatting tool known as merge. So to merge a cell, you use this particular icon to merge. So you have to highlight the cells, then you now merge, click on it. You can see it has merged all the cells. Now we can now centralize it. Click on that. Yeah, centralized. Then let's see if we can increase the size. All right, we can increase the size. Let's say 14, fine. Let's make it bold. Let's give it a color. Okay, payroll. That's fine. So far so good. This is what we have done. We've been able to input data into cells. We've been able to edit entries, okay, to bold the font, give it a font color, align the text in the cells. We've also been able to format the cell by giving the cell background color, adding rows and columns, been able to merge the cells or merge cells, and then we've been able to rotate text in a cell. Thank you. If you have any question or comment, you can drop it in the comment box and they will be addressed. Thank you.